some members of the national media outside of Fox said they actually thought the Republican won the debate. Yes, they actually watched the debate and said out loud that J.D. Vance beat the Democrat Tim Walz. I watched and have to say, I think they're right. J.D. Vance had facts, he had specific ideas for getting the country back on track, and he even challenged the rather biased moderators when they tried to fact-check him on something that they wanted to spin in a totally different direction. My take? J.D. Vance was thorough and calm. Tim Walz was jumpy, nervous, and seemed to be writing a lot of notes that didn't seem to help him. At times, he almost looked like Elmer Fudd without a shotgun. Walz was even forced to admit that he lied about one of his many trips to China, saying he was a knucklehead, and he had just misspoke. Well, with us tonight, TBN contributor, former U.S. Ambassador, and Senator Scott Brown. Welcome back, Senator. Let's get into this. I thought last night's debate was really one of the better sort of at least points of repartee between two candidates that we've seen in a long time. Give us your take on what you saw.
I agree with you. I thought the handshakes, the collegiality, I think it's important because regardless of who wins or loses, Vance will still be a senator if he loses. And obviously he will be able to help the governor or then vice president or not. And if Walz loses, he goes back to be governor. If Vance is the vice president, those types of actions carry weight. So when Walz says, hey, listen, Senator, I need some help on A, B, C, or D, that's important. I thought it was issue focused. I appreciated that. They actually had a debate and they were able to ask each other questions. And there was a good positive back and forth, no name calling, no demeaning actions or attitudes or words. And I thought it was beneficial to the American public. Your comment on the moderators, yeah, they said they weren't going to fact check, but of course they fact checked, the Republican, and he was ready. I thought his demeanor was very good. I thought he was very classy, very poised, and really did the best he could on some of the tough questions. And you noted something else on the my knucklehead comment. Yeah, he is a knucklehead, but I would have, JD didn't do this, but I would have said, yes, sir, you lied about Tiananmen. You lied about carrying a gun in war zone. You lied about your military service. Your city burnt down. And I thought at that point he was very fragile. Walz was ready to go, and he just didn't hit that knockout blow. But that's a different strokes. It's that Midwestern charm, I think, that they were using.
The economy is uncertain. You never know whether your money's worth as much today as it was yesterday. It's one of the reasons I buy gold from American Hartford Gold. American Hartford Gold has earned a 5-star rating and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Be sure to tell them Mike Huckabee sent you. They'll give you up to $15,000 of free silver on your first qualifying order. Call 844-417-1010 or text Mike to 998899. You'll be glad you did business with American Hartford Gold. Yeah, I thought it was a night of unusual civility for a presidential debate. I mean, we're used to seeing sort of the rock'em sock'em robots that we've had when Donald Trump and Hillary debated, or Donald Trump and Joe Biden, or for that matter, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. And this was a couple of guys who both approached it rather pragmatically, spoke respectfully of each other. I did say, as I watched it, that, that mute button that CBS bragged about having, I wish they'd used it, but I wish they'd used it on the two anchors, Nora and Margaret. They should have just shut up, completely taken themselves out of it, and allowed these two gentlemen to speak, to ask each other questions. It was evident that they had the capacity to do that and to do it with a level of demeanor. And I just thought that CBS disgraced itself last night with their horrendous two anchors trying to insert themselves in it and really put their thumb on the scale for Tim Walz.
Well, listen, I don't disagree with you. I was shocked, like absolutely shocked when they asked the Tiananmen Square question to Walz. I was like, whoa, what just happened there? It's the first time that I can remember ever in many, many decades of debates that they asked a tough question like that to, the Democrat. And he completely fumbled and bumbled it, and his true colors came out. He was not ready for prime time. And absolutely, they were having some great conversations. I wanted them to continue because when JD was saying to the governor, please tell me where I'm wrong on your abortion bill. please, here, I know what I'm talking about. Tell me where I'm wrong. And he didn't have the answer because probably the governor didn't read it. I don't disagree. I think you're right. It would be great to have them just keep going and going. And as a moderator, Governor, we've all been there in some way, shape, or form when it gets out of hand. It's okay, guys, thank you. We're going to move on. Versus cutting it off in the middle when JD was clearly getting advantage over Walz.
Tim Walz had avoided questions from the national media. He's run from them. He hasn't had that repartee with the reporters day after day after day, which really helps you to hone your skills when you're on that stage for a debate, as you and I both know. On the other hand, J.D. Vance has done nothing but take questions. All incoming, he takes them and responds very respectfully, but very honestly to the reporters who ask. He walked on that stage having actually sat in the cockpit of the plane and flown it on many missions. Tim Walz sat there, and all he had done was fly a simulator. He had never actually taken one off the ground. And to me, that's what showed last night. And you've been on a debate stage just like I have. I don't know how you can prepare for debate without being willing to go answer questions day after day. That's the best preparation it seems to be.
Yeah, Governor, I love debating. I mean, gosh, I was up there answering the questions. Come on, do this, do that. So we all think we can all do it better, and we're not there. Yeah, JD was absolutely right. He's done more interviews by far, like 2 or 3 times more than both of them combined. And I thought the fact that Walsh was hibernating and not they weren't allowing him to speak was a real detriment to his presentation. And in terms of the muscle memory, it's like if you're a runner, you're not going to go out and do a marathon. You have to train. If you're a basketball player, you're not just going to play the whole game. You got to, practice. And they haven't done that. They haven't paid the dues and done the things necessary to shine in the debate. And it was clearly obvious. And I think it moves the needle a little bit, especially with the people that are saying, well, I may not like Trump, but boy, this guy JD Vance, he's going to be there, helping guide the president.
We're 33 days away from the election. I'm not sure what is going to move the needle at this point, but did this debate, did it move undecided voters one way or the other?
Well, we'll soon find out, Governor. Was getting texts all night, during the entire debate from people who told me they were not voting for Trump. And now they say, you know what, I'm going to reconsider because, I'm looking at the things that JD reminded me of, what it was like under President Trump versus what it's like now. And he pointed out, listen, you had 3.5 years to do all this, and now you want to get a promotion and do them now. Well, you should have either done them right now or done them previously, and you haven't. And then you're blaming President Trump for what Iran's doing. You're blaming him for this and for that and for this. Listen, we had an historic pandemic that China created, obviously, that really set us back. We were on a steamroller moving forward. And the president, did everything he could do, along with others, to try to get us through this. And he left this administration that's in charge right now with a fantastic situation. Interest rates were low. Inflation was low. Growth was moving positively. I mean, energy costs. I mean, you could go everything was working in like a high rolling machine, like a fast train going down the track. And to blame President Trump for all of their woes is just embarrassing.